install the good things. That message is about to appear.
Alright. I'm just making sure my camera isn't drifting, because for some reason, when I visit my villagers' houses, the camera drifts.
Oh
But it
no,
doesn't when I'm at my house, and I don't understand why it does that.
it's not a Joy-Con
And it's the
drift, is
only
it?
time that uh, it might be. I mean, these are the OG ones that I got along with the console, so
Oof. I hope it's not.
yeah.
That's no fun.
No, I mean, I've got the Pro controller and a wire controller, so it's like, eh.
I do love the Pro Controller. It's so good.
I know, I haven't had any drifts since I got it. And I think I got it, like, that New Year's.
I just don't
Because,
think... I don't think it has drift. I think the Pro Controller is just so good, you know?
yeah. But no, it's a funny story, though. Like I said, I got the Switch for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were gonna go to, me and my mom were gonna go to our hometown for New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
Because my sibling and I wanted to celebrate with our friends. So I was gonna surprise my friend with the Switch. So on our way on our way, I went into GameStop, grabbed another pair of controllers, and then we drove up. And apparently, she was also going to surprise me that she has had a Switch.
Oh, that's
So I ended
hilarious.
up getting the second pair for actually no, not for nothing, because she had the exact same red and blue ones, and I bought the gray just in case. So I just used the gray controller so that we didn't mix up. We didn't get them mixed up.
Oh, that is really funny.
Yeah, and so at the time I only had Pokken and she had Mario Odyssey. So literally we were just like putting the cartridge in between both consoles until I left, and she had like ordered me the game so that it would be there by the time that I got home. And then when I put in my cartridge, it still had the save data from when we were playing it together. And I was just like, "Oh my gosh,
Ooh,
that is crazy!"
Nexo is here. Hey, Nexo. Sorry, I was getting things sorted.
Hi,
Welcome.
Nexo. What's up? Oh, neighbors might try to come in. He came on my stream earlier.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
This is gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I know, me too. All right, let me post this in my stream updates.
And there's a dash, a dash, a dash.
Is that a dash of Magnum?
Oh, Dash, we talked about the Amico so much today.
Oh, how was the live event this morning?
Well, it was really a lot of fun. It was a great stream, I feel, looking back on it. No regrets on my part. I felt bad for Tommy Tellerico, though, because there was a bunch of stream delay and technical difficulties on his end. It did make me kind of feel like, hey, this is the life of a streamer. So I felt like there was a little bit of validation that what we do is difficult when you can have an industry veteran like Tommy Tallarico have a bit of a difficulty with it. But I did feel really bad for him. I mean, it's no fun when that happens. And so I kind of commiserated with him as best I could through the YouTube chat. But no, it was really a lot of fun. It was really cool. The videos were neat. Not as many announcements as I was expecting, but one of the cool things was we got a game demo drop, and I got to play that on the stream.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Ooh.
Very nice.
Nexo. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Mictron Gaming, hello. Ooh.
I should probably pull up the chat, shouldn't I?
Probably.
That'd be smart.
All right, we're about to go quiet here because our countdown is counting down. We got only, well, there we go. But it's time for us to roll that intro, so we'll be quiet for a second, and... Hey yo everyone, and welcome. I'm your friend Art of Mana. Actually, I'm your friend Otter Mana, and I am joined by MemoryMartin, aka
Hello.
Batgirl.
AKA Barbara Gordon. Yes,
that's right.
I am saying right now that's obviously my Google name.
The best Batgirl, if you ask me. And welcome everybody to the third episode of Isle Mana Live. We are once again in the world of Animal Crossing and just kind of hanging out and having a good old time.
Oh,
And oh, well, Mary Martin's having a really good time, apparently.
apparently.
Enjoying
So
that a
much so
lot.
I can't stay still in my seat.
But everybody, this is going to be a lot of fun. It seems like it's been now a short while since we've had the last Isle Mana Live. And for those of you who might need a refresher, what this is it is essentially a talk show. It's a chance for me to get to interview some of the people that I've gotten to meet through the world of streaming here on my Animal Crossing island of Isle Mana, hence Isle Mana Live. And lest I forget, I should probably also mention that this is, in fact, the 559th stream, which is a pretty cool milestone. But
Nice.
but we decided to dress up because it's Halloween. Last few times we were dressing up kind of with, I had a suit and tie and all that. But last minute, MemoryMartin had a great idea. So thank you so much, MemoryMartin, for suggesting
Yep.
this. So MemoryMartin, before we get started, let me just share a little bit about how this is going to go, and so that everyone here in chat can know. Kaiser, hello. I'll behave, Memory, I promise.
I was gonna
Welcome
say,
on in.
Queasy, you better be a good boy.
So this is going to be mostly a conversation between MemoryMartin and myself, and then I'm going to have opportunities towards where we'll do like a half hour of talk with a topic, half hour of answering more of your questions. I'm going to ask Dash Magnum and some of the other moderators to drop some of the top comments into our thread on Discord. That way I can quickly grab them. And then if anyone is really, really curious, they say like, I really want this message to be read or whatnot, you can always feel free to use the highlight option, and the mods can put those in that message. It doesn't necessarily guarantee it, but it probably will help. And we'll go through 2 rounds of that, meaning that this will be a 2-hour stream. So without further ado, welcome everyone to Isle Man Live. MemoryMartin, welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good, fighting crime, all that normal stuff. Trying to keep a secret from my dad.
So, MemoryMartin, some of the community here may not be familiar with you and your streaming content. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi, I'm Memory or Ori. I am a autistic streamer, specifically Asperger's, and my content normally is family friendly, and we usually do like blind playthroughs, casual Pokemon stuff, and occasional art stuff, that sort of thing. And I also try to dive into like other gaming genres and franchises because I actually mostly got into Twitch because I wanted to get into more games. I played Pokemon pretty much since I was like about 8. I'm now 21. So yeah, I've been playing for quite a while. So yeah, this was actually one of the first games I started to branch into, or branch out of, I guess.
Nice. I have noticed that you've absolutely been a Pokemon fan because you shared some art. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I saw a lot of Pokemon
Mm-hmm.
in there.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I realized that, and I'm like, I need to diversify this a bit.
so I'm curious, what was it like to transition from Pokemon over to Animal Crossing? What were the similarities? What were the differences?
Um, well, actually, for those of you who watch my streams, you guys might know the story, but basically,
joining the friends of
up until about sophomore year of high school, I actually didn't really have, well, okay, I had acquaintances throughout elementary and middle school, but we really didn't have anything in common. And then freshman year of high school, I just had like some 2 bad English teachers, and of course, that's writing is my Achilles heel, so that didn't help. And then there's a YouTuber I've been watching. Actually, he got me into gaming. Trigger Conroy. He started playing New Leaf back in like early November, and I just fell in love with the game. It was exactly what I needed. In fact, that and my dog Cooper got me through the rest of freshman year.
Oh,
So yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome. And I know you're still playing New Leaf to this day.
Yeah, I actually just restarted it again.
That's great. I love it.
I've lost track of how many times.
Cool. Cool. Well, everyone, I want to also just say, you know, Memory Martin asked, I kind of put out a broad request for people who were interested in joining me here on Isle Man Alive. And Memory Martin, responded to the call, much as Batwoman ought to, I suppose. And one of the things we talked about, we were just kind of bouncing around ideas of what to chat about, what we could use as topics. And one of the things that you mentioned in your introduction, the fact that you share yourself, you say, I am an autistic streamer. What does that mean to you? I'm curious. What does that mean to you? How do you see yourself as an autistic streamer? And for those of us who aren't as familiar with autism, what is that?
So, well, for me, technically, I have autistic spectrum disorder. I have not quite enough symptoms to be considered full on autistic, but you know, just like with a lot of things, it's a very wide spectrum. For me, it's more considered Asperger's, which is it's kind of more of a mild form of the symptoms. Uh, but even then, obviously, that could still be super severe. So it's kind of funny because a lot of, especially for females, when they're diagnosed with it, they get diagnosed later on in life. Like there's one woman, she got diagnosed like in her 40s after her husband got diagnosed with autism. And I actually got diagnosed at the age of 2 because I've always been slightly behind compared to the rest of my peers. Like literally since I was born, I was in an incubator for like 2 to 3 months. Um, and they think that that might have been the cause of it. They're obviously not sure. But so yeah, I've always been a little bit behind, and that was when my mom started to notice it. So she, took me to doctors. She took me to see all sorts of therapists and specialists and stuff, and helped me get better and just helped me I guess, try to realize that like the world isn't all just centered on me. I need to broaden it a bit, broaden my views and everything, sort of thing. And it's definitely helped mostly. Some things I still struggle with, but I've definitely gotten better.
So one of the areas then that you struggled with was looking outside of your own sort of person and seeing other people and recognizing maybe what they're going through. And is that kind of what
Yeah,
I'm hearing?
so like for me, what's the best way to say it? So like I've always been stubborn, but like when I was a kid, I was very stubborn and I was very like wanting to do my own thing and sort of like my mom was telling me like so I was born in Hong Kong and apparently they took me to like an early development center and there was like a bus to and from the place, and I had to sit in the back seat every single time. If someone else sat in it, I would throw a fit because
Okay.
I can't stand change. Even now, obviously, I still can't stand change. I've gotten better about it. If I express that like I I do or don't want it, sort of thing, then I'm more likely to like not freak out as much.
Okay.
Oof.
Yeah. I mean, my understanding, and it is limited, but my understanding is there are lots of ways that autism can present itself in a person's life,
Mhm.
right? So there's not kind of a cookie cutter definition, right?
Yeah, not exactly.
So, so I guess that my follow up to you then is, again, you call yourself, an I forget you say an autistic streamer. Is that how you say it?
Uh, I think in my about me I say I am autistic, specifically Asperger's. I think is what it says.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, wording is not my forte.
The words be hard. It's okay. Yeah. But do you find that there are people who then hear that and say, "Oh, me too," and you're able to start conversations?
Yeah, I've Krazer can actually tell you. He's my mod and my emo artist. Uh, when I finally put that, like when I started learning about it, like to try to figure it out for myself when all of this happened, and I changed that into my about me, I got flooded with viewers say, and there's one person in particular who was saying that they were autistic and it was like kind of more severe, and that they were like getting so happy, they were like starting to, like their hands were getting shaky because they were happy, and then like later on their sister, like uh I guess they saw like the stream on whatever, on like whatever device, and messaged me like on that person's account, and I literally almost cried on stream because I was so happy to hear that, like how happy I made that person. And they're
That's
still a
awesome.
regular on my channel.
I think that's
Yeah.
one of the powerful things about Twitch is that the way that we can connect, especially when you're talking about um, groups that might otherwise possibly be glossed over. I don't know if that's a fair way to put it or not, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Um, I, I actually am thinking of this song that I heard, and it's called "The Internet Is Awesome" by the couple who started Patreon,
Mm-hmm.
and it has it's more like a spoken word kind of thing, but it has a passage where it talks about the fact that the internet allows groups of people to connect over various things and in a much more effective way because you might be able to cast your net wider and actually meet people that are much further away from you physically, distance wise, but might share a lot of those common interests or, um, you know, might just share some of your similar traits or personalities or indeed, as you're describing, you might meet some people on the autism spectrum, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I think, ironically enough, I think that was kind of one of the things that gravitated me towards you, because like I think I just saw your layout and I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks so nice and clean. I want to learn more. I want to pick this guy's brain, and then just like, because I remember like shortly after like I became a regular, I started showing you to my dad, and he was like, okay, I see why you can watch him for a full 2 hour stream, but like for him, I mean, gaming just isn't his thing. But
Sure.
either way, you know.
Well, I'll have to talk to your dad for a little bit. I have to make him a believer. What do you want to see for 2 hours? I want you to watch for 2 hours and be entertained. Well, yeah, and speaking of that, you really have been a regular since pretty much the beginning. And I just wanted
Yeah.
to thank you actually and officially thank you in front of everyone because
No.
you're a streamer. It means so much when people do come back and you start forming that relationship. And you have shared so much with me and talked a lot about yourself. And I know you've talked about autism, but you've also talked about even just recently you've been going through some medical tests and exams and things like that. I don't want to get too personal on there, but I know that you've been trying to figure things out, and it's nice to be able to share that with you, and that you feel comfortable sharing that with the community, and hopefully you feel supported in the community as well.
Oh yeah, I feel support in yours. I feel it in mine. Like literally, I was getting messages like when I was like, "Hey, I know I said after July I was gonna come back, but like I just found some new stuff, and like I need to. I don't know when I'm gonna get these appointments and procedures and stuff." Which, by the way, those came back negative, but
Good.
they are, they are still testing for Crohn's, and I'm not gonna know that until about next week. So.
Okay. Do you find that sharing these things with your community when you stream, does it, how's it received?
Uh, I feel like it's received positively.
Hmm.
I think it's a combination of just the way I'm saying it, like in terms of like my tone and just like what's just the situation and all that. Because like I remember even I think anybody who's on either of our discords, you guys might have saw the other day. I literally sent a message at like no, at 5 in the morning, starting to freak out because my sibling was in the hospital. Like literally, I literally had just gotten a text from my mom being like, "So I had to take your sibling to the hospital because of just been." Um, but they're fine, by the way. It was just some inflammatory stuff.
Good.
So yeah, that was oof. That was not fun.
Yeah. No, no, not at all. Well,
Nope.
I guess I asked that question. I know it was a little, maybe it was a weird question, but I guess I asked
Yeah.
because I think some people, I hear some streamers, they'll talk about, you never want to say anything negative. You never want to say anything that would cause anyone to feel uncomfortable or to, that could be, quote, sad or anything like that. But I actually think what's really neat about your streams and about everything is that you are really honest. You're very authentic, and you share just sort of what's going on in your life. And I think that's the real wonderful thing about Twitch is that we can be a lot more honest and open and things like that. And I find that's refreshing compared to someone who might not want to share some of those things. I don't know. I guess that was my point.
Yeah, I've noticed I've kind of started to be like that, cause well, so the first couple years that when we were living here in Florida weren't so great. Um, it was my senior year of high school, so obviously everybody knew everybody already, and me being the wallflower didn't even bother trying to talk to. I think I only talked to one or two classmates just because we had a couple of classes. Um, and then I wasn't a big fan of my job, and then I had a work incident last Valentine's. Again, my viewers will know about it. Um, don't want to quite get into that because
No,
that
it's
a little
fine.
bit is a little too personal. But yeah, so then I think it was after that work incident I started I guess for me, I try to mull over what I'm going through and just trying to process it. And there are still times where I still can't understand it. So usually I'll tend to go to my dad because I feel like I'm close with both parents, but I feel like because he's the oldest on his side of the family, I just feel like I can just talk about it with him more and just figure out his different perspectives, both as a guy and just the way he grew up and just different personality. So
Nice. Well, so what do you want people to know about yourself, and what would you say to someone who comes to your stream and and says, "Oh my gosh, I'm autistic too"?
uh I would say probably, this is just a great community if you want to try to learn more, or maybe you need to ask questions because you can't, there's no good resources, you're not in a good environment or things like that, like I will admit I am kind of lucky in that I can kind of talk about it with my parents, not quite I think to the extent I want to, because neither of them are medical professionals or anything like that. But because there's one YouTube channel that I've been following for basically since this whole thing, Asperger's on the Inside, and I've been sharing those videos a lot with both parents, but mostly dad. And I don't know, I just find that it just a lot of the things he said just really clicks with especially because the woman I mentioned earlier, he interviewed her, and she had mentioned something where a lot of girls in school they would put up the mask of being the perfect straight A student, and then when they came home, the mask came off, and they were just it was a complete 180. And when my mom and I were sitting in the living room watching that, and it immediately clicked for her because she was like, "Oh my gosh, this was you in elementary school." She thought it was
Oh,
just an adjusting thing from moving from Hong Kong to North Carolina, and then she realized, no, that's not it at all. Of course, I
gotcha.
don't remember. I don't remember it at all. So,
I had attempted to some extent to try to do a little research ahead of time, but or at least just look up a few things. But it does seem to me like, again, very minimal on my part. I wish I had done more, but it sounds like a lot of the signs of being on the spectrum are usually determined around two or three.
uh, well, like I said, because like I tried looking up a lot of this stuff too, and a lot of the articles just say the same thing. With boys, it's much easier.
Mm.
They can usually detect it earlier, but for girls, it usually tends to be a bit later because they seem to be better at masking stuff and better,
As
um,
your case.
kind of like yeah, and also like being able to emulate like what their peers are doing, which I remember when I read that, I'm like, and I literally asked point blank asked my parents, I'm like, okay, when you read this, did I ever do this in school, or did my teachers ever say that I act like this? And they're like, no, you never
Hmm.
did. I'm like, they're like, you never wanted to. If anything, I've had more guy friends than girlfriends.
Hmm.
So like, so they read that and they're like, that's not true at all. And I'm like, so then who was I emulating basically my childhood? Then I realized I've basically been emulating Sugar Conroy, who also I found out
Oh.
semi recently from my dad that he is autistic because when I first got into so my dad owned his own company. He made DVD, CD cases, laptop bags, and sleeves and stuff. And when I had first gotten into Chugga, my dad saw how much I was into him, and it was like the first time I had ever been like this into something and this happy. So he wanted to sponsor Chugga, but he turned him down. And then
Mm.
I guess in that email he mentioned it, and my dad still remembered that. I think he might still have the email. I don't know.
Wow. That's
Probably
a
not.
really cool story, actually.
Yeah.
Wow. Um, but yeah, I think that's what, again, just speaking to what a small world it is, right?
Mm.
Interesting. So again, I don't really know. I'm, and I hope that other people look at it as this too. I'm just seeking to know more of your experience, and so I appreciate you being so open and honest and sharing about all of those things. So, we,
Yeah.
I'm glancing at chat from time to time, and I'm seeing a lot of comments, people saying, I'm on the spectrum as well, or I just saw a comment from Twitchy Berry saying that he had to take his 11-year-old, heavily autistic, semi-verbal son to the hospital this week because he had shoved a Cheerio up his ear. Not fun.
Oh
Um,
no, Barry, I'm sorry.
yeah. Um, but I mean, there have been many other people, and I know there's some really great questions here too. I'm gonna just take a quick peek and see what ones we have here. Getting close to that mark where we would go into questions, but I'm thinking maybe we might even just go ahead and read some of them here. I'm not sure, Dash Magnum, if you're able to throw a couple in chat here. But let's see.
Oh
Um,
hi, Mike. I just noticed you're here. Yeah, I rated his buddy Lord Giro earlier, and turns out Mike's actually a teacher, and he was really interested in wanting to join in tonight. So
oh, awesome. Oh, really good.
yeah.
Cool. Well, let's see. A couple of comments here. This is one from from Kreiser, who also said, "Hello there. I've come to ruin this community's family friendliness," which makes me laugh. But
Crazy, you're in big trouble.
but I think that was pretty funny. Um,
Hmm.
they ask, "Is there a quote softer form of autism than Asperger's? Can one tell if they're autistic without a medical diagnosis?"
Uh, I don't know. like I said, I'm not a professional. I just tried to find as much resources as I could. Um, so actually, speaking of that, because I was just talking about this with Mana right before we started. So kind of a passion project that I've sort of kind of realized I might want to try starting up soon. I think I want to try to make sort of what's the best way to say it? Sort of like I guess a digital library of all like really good like autistic sources, whether it be books or YouTube channels or just like you know specialists who are near you or centers near you and all that stuff. But like I want it where it's not the form of monkey see monkey do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sort of
I
thing.
I think that's a fantastic idea. We were talking a little bit about that before, but something where you're just gathering those resources you found helpful. So curating all
Yeah.
of the resources that are out there. I think that's an awesome idea. And if you do that, please let me know. I'd love to link to it as well, and
Oh,
share
definitely.
that with people. You did mention that YouTube site or that YouTube channel. What was it again? It was says.
Asperger's on the inside.
Do you happen to have a link to that you could pop into the chat for people?
Yeah, let me go pull it up right now because let me see here.
That'd be great. And excuse me. By the way, for those of you who don't know, my cough is a result of all of the fires that have been in Oregon lately, and so I have the residual lingering cough, even though we had a bunch of rain today. So that's that's pretty good. But
From the inside. Here we go.
now, Scooter says,
So,
as a person who is disabled, I embrace my disability and questions about it. You seem very awesome, MemoryMartin.
no,
Yeah, I'd agree.
Scooter, you're making me blush. Oh,
Twitchy.
yeah, except the water blushing from me.
Oh.
There we go.
Twitchy Berry says 3 of my sons and 1 daughter have autism diagnoses, all found early but with quite a spread of abilities. And I think that's the thing I'm taking away from all of this too, is that there is such a diversity in terms of what that means really to be on the spectrum. And so
Yeah, because like, I'll let you finish.
oh no,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Oh, well, I was gonna say some of the things for me. It's like I am semi-sensitive to touch, especially around my face, but I'm also really sensitive to like taste and texture, especially with meat. And my friends and family have started to notice this recently. So like, for me, I'm more likely to eat meat if you describe to me like what it feels like and what it tastes like, and I have to have something covering it. So like whenever I get like a cheeseburger, I have to have ketchup on it because then I won't taste it.
But it's the texture more than the taste?
It's more the texture, yeah. Sometimes it's the taste. It depends on what I'm eating.
But it's just a real sensitivity to that? Is that kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then contrast to that, I have a very weak sense of smell. There's like very few things I can pick up on, like if like fish is being cooked, gasoline. I also just found out that ribs apparently I can smell, which is not fun.
Not during barbecue season, probably.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess I'm sorry, I'm bouncing around here. There's so many questions I have and so many things. But going back to here's something Hamabe Boy actually said. Hamabe Boy, welcome on in. Says I've had a couple of former students who are on the spectrum as well, and so it seems like it's a ton of people here have actually experienced or have met or know or have themselves. Or are themselves on the spectrum. 8-Bit Dad 7DC says, I dated a girl with Asperger's a long time ago. She was lovely. Our relationship only ended because I moved away. So, and then there's a wonderful little back and forth here. Kaiser says, in terms, so let me just go back and see if I can find the original message here. Let's see. Might be... I'm not entirely sure exactly what the original message was here, but Kreiser responds that it often depends on a person's experience with shame and caring. I have so much respect for people who don't care at all about others' disapproval and are open about their stuff as anything normal. I think maybe...
Oh, he's agreeing with Hamabe seconding what Scooter said.
Gotcha. Okay, I admire how open you are about it. Sorry, gotcha. I second that it takes a lot of courage to be open. Gotcha. Okay, there we go. Yes.
Yep, I know
Yeah.
Fraser way too well. I basically met him when I started. So
Interesting. Yeah. I really, again, I think that this is something where you bring something really valuable to this, platform, and by that I mean, like, even Isle Man Alive, just bringing awareness to this. I love seeing everybody having personal experiences, and being able to relate to this, and then just to know that it's okay to sort of talk about it and ask questions and things. It does seem like, there are some people for whom, living on the spectrum is difficult. Do you find that it is sort of an additional burden to you, or do you find that it just kind of depends? What I would suspect there are also some things that are really powerful and like things that are um, positive that you would really point to, um, and share. What do you find? Okay, getting into like a
Uh,
tough question here. I know. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, you're fine. Ironically enough, I find I can do this way better than usual. For me, I guess it kind of depends on like sort of like the situation I'm in and just like how I'm feeling. Because like I said, with freshman year, like literally up until sophomore year when I met my two best friends, every day just kind of seemed like a drag because it just felt like I didn't really have anybody to share like the interests I had aside from my next door neighbor who got me into Chugga, but he was like I think a year or two um, younger than me, and we kind of drifted apart by the time we were getting into high school, mostly because of my sibling, because like those two were always fighting. Um, but yeah, but then like aside from that, freshman year of high school, all my other acquaintances were at different high schools, or we didn't have any classes together at the same school because it was a big high school. Um, so that didn't help either. And then of course my parents were both working for the company, like a lot, like at the warehouse at the time. So so I think by that point I kind of started to I guess video games were kind of a crutch for me at that point,
Hmm.
and not I wouldn't quite say to an addiction, but just like it was sort of an escape, and like I didn't realize that until like recently, like just with how little I've been playing, like I'll play Animal Crossing for like what like 4 hours, maybe a week or so, or a day, depends.
Which, yeah, that's, or well, either way. That, I mean, I was gonna say 4 hours a week isn't a whole lot, really.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like compared to uh like prior to that, like
Oh,
literally I would get
gotcha.
home, I would just bang through all my schoolwork aside from English, and then just dive right into um gaming until my parents got home at like about 8 o'clock.
So what am I
So
hearing? Correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like what you're saying is that one of the harder aspects of it earlier on was just connections with other people and having relationships with other people.
yeah, because like yeah, it's that was really hard, especially when you're both autistic and an introvert. Because that was the same thing I struggled with at work because at work uh I usually would work 11 to 5, and so normally like at the beginning of my shift I would be like the youngest person there, and like I really only talked to like 3 people at work, and then by the time my shift was going to end, all of the high schoolers came in, but like they weren't people I didn't want to associate with due to like their life choices. Um, so it was just like I only ever talked to my work mom, um, another older woman who I respected and seemed to try to keep an eye out on me, and then a guy who I work with once a week, and then he's the only person coworker who I hung out with outside of work.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I'm glad you put it that way, by the way, too, and you brought up being an introvert too, because there's a tendency, I think, for all of us to look at some of these terms and things and use that as a blanket label and sort of define you by, oh, well, you're on the autism spectrum. But then you say, well, no, no, it's just more that's like that's an ingredient in who you are, right? Then you also have that you're an introvert, and you kind of think about all the personality assessments that are out there and things like that. You think of even the Myers Briggs. Are you thinking or perceiving? Are you, um, feeling
Mhm.
or was it feeling or perceiving? Feeling or thinking, judging, perceiving. I don't
Something
remember
like
the
that.
combinations. Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my
Yeah.
head. But
I don't either.
There's all of these different, elements that make us who we are. So I'm glad that you brought that up. So Batgirl seems to be having an issue with her glasses.
Yep, yep. I was hoping that because they were smaller, they wouldn't press on my nose, and I was wrong.
I have to
I love
say,
it.
I do dig the Batwoman or Batgirl costume. I
Yeah.
actually, and I'm glad that you said Barbara Gordon too, because in my mind that's always that's the Batgirl. Oh.
Mhm.
So this I think leads to a good spot where we can talk a little bit more about just streaming, because like you said, bringing that, all of who you are, all of those different aspects. What drew you to streaming? Why did you start streaming? How did you get into it? What was the appeal? Uh, what's the story?
So, I started watching a YouTuber named Mystic Umbreon for like quite a few years. He mostly makes best team videos for like all of the main series Pokemon games, and I realized he was on Twitch, and I was like, why not? I'm bored. So I hopped on, started watching him. He seemed cool, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna grab my laptop and just start streaming on my bed.
Really?
And my first stream was on my birthday.
No
At
way.
by that point, I had known Mystic for like a couple months, and he rated me on my birthday, and it was enough for me to get affiliate.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Uh
I was so excited. I just like knocked my my light off of the side of my desk here. That's that is such a funny story. As Dash points out, as good a reason as any. Yep, exactly. I love the laughing emote
yep.
there. That is funny. Um, yeah. So and then obviously it stuck. I mean, you made it to affiliate in like one stream on your
Yep.
birthday. It was a good
Mhm.
experience. What were you streaming on your bed? Like, what were you doing? Playing a little Pokemon?
Uh, yeah, I think I was mostly playing like I think I was playing the Generation 3 games because um yeah, because like I can't for some reason I can't whenever I try to play like the Generation 4 and 5 games, they just tend to lag. So I was usually streaming I was streaming those up until Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee came out,
Mm,
as well
mm-hmm,
as and then also once I got the drawing tablet, I started streaming art as well.
mm-hmm. So I want to take a, a I want to ask a question. What do you see yourself doing in the world of streaming in the next 5 years? Where do you think you'll be?
Ooh. I'm hoping to not take as many hiatuses. That'd be nice.
Me too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Uh. I'm kind of hoping maybe like if I'm able to get the autism site up, maybe like with enough people there, I could try to be a full-time streamer as well. Because like I noticed this with this whole pandemic, my social anxiety has gone up and up and up, and it's gotten really bad.
Okay.
Like it's gone to the point where it's like I can't even talk on the phone anymore without having a 2-hour panic attack, and I'm like,
Ooh.
oh no, I can't do retail jobs or any of those jobs where I have to talk to a bunch of people again. Oy vey.
Oh, I love how so.
Like
Oy vey.
this is fine. I think it's
Yeah.
probably because you and I have talked before, and I
True.
know you, and
Mm-hmm.
also it's like I know what we're talking about, so that this is fine. But like
Yeah.
otherwise, forget about it.
Well, and that goes back to those personality assessments and things too. It's like some of the the strengths that we have versus some of the things, the skills that we either aren't as natural for us or that are lagging. And I think I I'm right there on the line for introvert extrovert. And so it's really interesting because I find that there are times where I really need that introverted time, that time where like, everybody please, give me some space. I just need to sit and read a book or, be with my thoughts or prayers or whatever. it is at that time. And then there are times where I'm just craving that social interaction. And it's really weird to be right on that line, and it just makes it tough because I can't always tell when I'm going to need which. But I'll fill my tank
Mm-hmm.
in one and then I'll deplete it in the other, and then it'll flip suddenly, and then I'm like depleting my tank, and and I'm like, oh no, I didn't even realize I was doing that, and then I can get stressed or burned out. So that's just one way that it happens for me. But I think again, all of us, I tend to look for connections, and I like having those conversations with people. But if you're sort of really a strong personality, I think people sometimes refer to it as type A. I get pretty nervous. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna
Yeah.
go. Let's sit over here and read a book. um. Anyway, that was just a little aside. I don't know if that was helpful or whatever. So
Yeah.
so streaming, I know it's something that takes a lot of work. What do you think some of your greatest strengths as a streamer are?
Oh boy. Hmm. I think probably just that I'm like always super positive. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
again, Crazer can tell you like I like even when I get mad about something, I pretty much get over it like very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think it's kind of similar to you, just trying to have like an open and positive sort of community, and just just letting people know it outright that that's what I want, and I don't really feel like deviating from that because that's just not my personality at all.
Yeah, it's just really just inviting those opportunities to be positive and share gaming and things like that with one another. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, and also like just being able to get into a bunch of different other franchises with you guys. Like that's why I do a lot of blind runs. Like I'm trying to figure out what else I like, sort of things, because
Okay.
I literally only ever played Pokemon pretty much,
Okay. So
and like the occasional Mario.
so speaking of when you said blind run, it made me think of a connection with your nickname or your name and Ori and the Blind Forest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you go by Ori, you go by MemoryMartin. What's the story behind all
Yep.
behind your names?
So well, actually, Memory has been an old nickname just because I have a I have a bonkers memory. So my grandmother got me into no, my grandfather got me into Law and Order's Special Victims Unit, and then I later found out my grandmother likes it too. So it's gotten to the point where I've rewatched the series multiple times. I can remember what happened in a particular episode just from reading either the title or the description.
Oh wow.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I always thought I only ever just cared about Pokemon because of the most random effects that I can just spit out, even to my two best friends who are also big Pokemon fans. But I also realized somewhat recently, my dad, sibling, and I, we were watching The Prisoner of Azkaban,
Mm-hmm.
and I spit out a couple of facts about like different things in the movie afterwards, and my dad was like, "Where did you get this? Like, did you read the books?" I'm like, "No, I think I only ever read Chamber Secrets. The only reason I know this is because of these two brothers who have a YouTube channel, and it's just because they talk about Harry Potter and Pixar and Pokemon because those are the things they love, and I watch them like all the time.
Hmm.
Like I'm like my sibling and I met them like what 2 Christmases ago, like 2 or 3 Christmases ago in
Cool.
Orlando.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So do you? I mean, you've mentioned now a few different people on YouTube and Twitch and things that you're pretty close with. How did those relationships develop?
Uh, well, the two brothers that were really cool. Also, actually, their youngest brother was there too. He was pretty cool too. Um, I would love to meet Chugga someday. That would
Mm-hmm.
be awesome. Um, the guy from Asperger's from the Inside. He'd be cool to talk to try
Yeah.
to like figure out more about him because like I've watched his videos and like like I said, a lot of things click. I watched like his very first videos where he was talking about like himself and like that he just got diagnosed in his journey and stuff. So it's like, oh, okay, I can follow that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Mystic and I are pretty good friends. We talk from time to time. Um, I mean, obviously, I am much younger than you. I'm probably much younger than most of you guys. So I
Oh,
grew up
just
with YouTube basically since it started.
thanks for rubbing that in my face. My gosh, today that's so funny that you say that because today I was talking to I was talking to some people that are much younger than me, and
Hmm.
it's actually some of my coworkers, and they're not like super, but like they're still younger than me, and I made some joke about like we were kind of having a back and forth, and there was someone else nearby that was actually like a teenager, and they were asking about jobs, and they were talking about whether or not they should take this job at one place, a little chain restaurant, if they really wanted to get this place at a little like a coffee shop. And they're like, well, maybe I'll just go to that place and I'll I'll work there for 2 weeks and then I'll transfer over to this other place if I get hired. And I was like, no, like that's poor etiquette. It's gonna look bad on your resume, and like think about all the effort that that place has to to put in and invest in your training and stuff like that. And then everyone's like, well, my coworkers, well, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, have you ever worked like food service? It's not necessarily something that, people are too worried about. Like it happens. And I said, well, hey now, I'm the gray beard, wise and old person in this room. You should listen to me and my advice. And and then I was like kind of proud of this. I thought it was pretty funny until everyone was like, yeah, you are really old. And I just went, oh. So that's twice in one
Aw.
day. Thanks, Memory Martin.
No problem.
Anyway, you were saying.
But but Martin is just a shorter version of my last name because like literally no one can say it right. I literally only had one teacher ever say it right on the first day of school, and I'm like, come on, it's not that hard. So like, okay, for those who don't know, I'm half Italian, half Irish. It's a half Italian name, or it's an Italian name. So that's why. I think you might be able to guess what it is. I don't care. I don't care if you're able to guess it.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
And so then Ori.
Uh, how did that come about? It was not because of Ori and the Blind Forest. I didn't even know about that game until I went to TwitchCon last year and my aunt was playing it, and then I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. No, actually, what happened was I went to Europe about like 2 or 3 summers ago, and I actually got this little guy from the Britannia. And
Nice.
so everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's a cute little corgi. And so because I had it on my stream semi frequently, people are like, oh, here's memory, here's a corgi, corgi. And I'm like, okay, that fits.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah,
See, I always thought
yeah,
it was, Ori. That's what I was assuming, but
yeah. No,
cool.
actually, what's kind of funny is I now have my villagers call me Ori on my island, most of them.
Nice. That's great.
Uh
That's
huh.
fantastic. Well, cool. Okay. You know what I want to do now? I want to head back up and look in chat here.
Alrighty.
Excuse me again.
Uh,
That
yeah,
cough.
I saw something from. Oh, yes, Scooter. I have watched Abdallah Smash from time to time. He's pretty cool. I think I think he streams on Twitch too. I forget. I follow quite a few people on Twitch who also have YouTube channels.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ironically enough, one of the guys I follow, he doesn't do YouTube anymore. He primarily does Twitch. Proton John. Oh my gosh, I love him. He is mature though, but
Mm-hmm.
he is well known for breaking every single game he plays. I'm not even joking. He somehow managed to break Wheel of Fortune.
Hey, you know what? If anyone could do it, that's too funny.
Uh-huh. Yep.
um.
Uh,
So, oh gosh, yeah, this cough's really coming back here. Um.
uh,
Ugh, it's so bad. I just ugh. Anyway, so I want to go back and just I'm gonna kind of scan this because there was a really neat conversation I was seeing between Hamabe Boy and Kreiser today, and it seemed like this back and forth was really cool. So um, let me just take a peek here. It looks like and so there was also actually I'm gonna read a couple of things here too because it's also is a neat exchange between Scooter and Seth, 8-bit Dad 7DC. Scooter talking about his own disability, and then his own disability, and 8-bit Dad 7DC saying, "To be honest, it took me a long time to notice that you were disabled, Scooter. It was even after we played Smash Brothers and you beat me." Um, and so that was kind of a neat thing there. Uh, Hamabe Boy says, Kreiser, I don't live with a disability, but I'm no stranger to shame and caring. Epic Mike asks a really good question we'll come back to in a moment. Kaiser says, neither do I, but I've experienced enough shame to be careful with my words. Also, I care about some things a lot, and I'm careful not to risk them. It sounds like a really caring person. Hamabe Boy then saying, um, uh, Hamabe Boy going on to say, actually, here, sorry. Let's go to Epic Mike's question. Thank you. Thankfully, Dash had posted this one. For newer teachers who are walking in on the field with no children with needs, what would be some advice to accommodate and get to know students akin to you? So I have no
Sorry,
experience.
I've been waiting a little bit to read it. I'm a bit nearsighted.
No worries. Yeah, but
Uh,
it's basically for anyone. Here, I'll get close to the camera too. um, but basically,
Alright.
yeah, for anyone who, uh, what would be your advice to someone as a teacher? What would you wish that your teachers did? What were things that your teachers did that were helpful? Um, yeah.
I'm trying to think of some of the teachers I had. Okay, so if I remember correctly, my parents' favorite teacher, because both my sibling and I had this teacher, was our third grade teacher, um, and she was super super awesome and totally understanding of my disability, and she, especially with my writing disability, she had this thing where uh, me and another kid, we had like a box, and whenever we were able to like do something on our own with like whatever the disability was, we would get like a little pebble, and if we
Mm.
filled it up to the top, then we would get, I think, like some sort of sweet or something. I don't remember exactly. This was third grade. Um, and I think she was also kind of the person to get me to start talking about like how to express myself better, because my mom even said, compared to now with all my current health stuff, I had a very hard time trying to express like specifically what was wrong
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, and just trying to get all that out. So like I think she kind of helped with that.
Cool.
And then my English teacher from senior year was also very understanding about, or no, my sophomore English teacher and the special needs teacher were very helpful and understanding, because I'm going to be honest, after the experience with the English teacher and special needs teacher from the previous year, when I went to go meet the sophomore ones, I freaked out. I freaked out. I thought it was going to be just like last year. I thought I was going to be miserable, and especially because English was the first class of my day every day. So basically, basically every day was just horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Thankfully, it wasn't. They were both super understanding and kind and sweet. Um, Senior year, same thing. The teacher was very understanding and very like uh, was able to ask mostly the right questions to try to get me to figure out what I wanted to write about and how to like write the specific topics she wanted me to write. And then it wasn't until I went to community college for a year, and then took a break. The teacher there, he wanted us to write some sort of paper about ourselves. I forget specifically what it was. That was the very first time I was able to go from draft to final all by myself with like very little help from my parents. And
Nice.
that was just on specific details. I got an F on it, but my dad was like, I don't care what he said. You deserve an A because this is the first time you do this all by yourself.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, but was there something that the teacher really did that helped to motivate you or assist you to do that, or was that more of an internal thing?
I think it's just because they were just able to talk to me and try to like I guess sort of take the time to kind of figure out like what specific problems I was having because like every year in school the guidance counselors and the teachers wouldn't be able to understand because they're like, oh well her grammar and her reading comprehension are fine
Mm,
compared to like these test scores. And even when I went to a like a therapy center or whatever um for the writing disability and for some other stuff, but for some reason they wouldn't accept like uh their their reports or whatever. I don't know why. It was weird. It was
mm,
dumb.
mm-hmm. Hmm.
North Carolina for you. Anyway,
I mean, let's
so
be honest. There are good and bad teachers everywhere, um,
yeah,
or there
true.
are teachers who really try hard but don't have the resources everywhere.
Yeah, but again, for me, it was just, and I again, my dad has started to notice this too. Like since we moved, like if I'm able to sit down and actually talk about it, then I'm more likely to figure out like just what I want to do or what to write about and stuff, sort of thing. But again, that's me, so I can't,
Right.
obviously that may or may not help you, Mike. So, you know,
Yeah. Well, there's a little continuation of the conversation again, sort of because it's already happened. I'm not entirely sure the flow of it, but I just want to kind of go back and share some things. So, Hamabe Boy says, to Mike's question, that's a great question. Same one I have in the back of my mind. Most college professors I know don't have that much training working with young adults with various needs. Mike says, we get training and courses on what it is, but never good advice on how to interact or accommodate children with exceptionalities. Um, and then I think this is on a different thread, but Hamabe Boy says it took a good 5 or 6 years to undo the first 20 years of internalized shame and to embrace the things and people I care about. So that was, I thought, just a really powerful comment right there. Twitchy Berry says, familiar things are a comfort to many: games, routines, food, and other people, animal, or objects. Personality tests never grasp me properly, neither do most people at first. But I like that part right there. That might be some helpful stuff too. Familiar things, routines, and also being, again, I'm not an expert, but I know just in general, not even someone on the autism spectrum, but something that I've learned in working with young people is, and especially trauma. This is a trauma informed care piece, but not assuming that when you ask something, it's really heard and internalized yet. It might take a little while for that process to happen. So what you might initially think is disrespect or lack of paying attention might really just be, hey, you didn't wait long enough. So uh,
mm,
let that time pass to really, you know, uh, first take hold, and then you could say, "Did you hear my words?" or something like this, and follow up. But don't just go, "Hey,
yeah.
hey, hey, why aren't you listening to me?" That's not going to help anyone. Twitchy Berry
Yeah.
says, "Oh, go ahead."
Oh no, I was just gonna say because like the work incident from last Valentine's, like when it first happened, like I had no idea what was going on because like I literally didn't say anything, like to the person, and then when I came home and I just relayed like what was said, and then my parents said specific words, then it kind of sunk in, and I was like,
Mm.
oh, so that's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay then. Into a all-night panic attack.
Jeez, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Ugh. Um. So, Hamabe Boy, going back to that question, says, so they tell me how and what I can do. Otherwise, it can be a guessing game. Some of my students experience strong anxiety sharing their need for accommodations or requesting them, and I think that's another part of it. Do you find? I mean, what would you say to somebody who might need to share a piece about themselves so that others can understand them better? What advice would you
Uh,
give? But maybe they're feeling shame or guilt or something. Who knows? Anxiety.
I mean, I would say that like maybe if words aren't the best way, like if you can't like whether it's like vocally or like typing or whatever, maybe like just do it in whatever like with whatever interests you. Like for me, because Krazer knows this. Sometimes when I'm like really frustrated or whatever, and I can't, and I'm stumbling a lot on my words, and I'm tripping up on like my words, I'll just kind of like draw it out, and then like eventually he'll get it. Sometimes it takes a second, but
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, it's neat too because we're seeing this from the other end, from these teachers' perspectives, and Hamabe Boy saying everyone has a unique situation, different needs. It can be obvious sometimes or completely unseen others. But as a teacher, I feel responsible for meeting my students' needs, even with minimal training that I have. Mike says, "Yeah, the amount you get experience with those children before going full time is a lottery pick. You could have no kids, all of them on the spectrum, and the schedule for a teacher is always tough for you to reflect on those interactions, which is a great point too." Twitchy Berry says, "My 11-year-old struggled with lighting levels at one of his schools in the classroom." That's interesting. That's a
Oh
good
yeah,
point.
that's a, that's a somewhat common thing I've seen from a lot of autism studies. I think if we don't have that, I mean, granted, the lighting in Florida is horrible.
Hmm.
So,
Well, good lighting. It's hard to come by. Just go to all the Twitch streamers' studios, and then you'll find all the light that you need. Right?
I mean, literally all my viewers say like they're like so. It's a running joke when I started that my bedroom looked like a hotel room. So they'll always be like, "So which hotel are you staying at tonight?" And I'm
That's
like,
great.
uh,
That's really funny.
yep.
Boy, I'm so happy. This just has been such a good conversation so far. But we've also been talking about kind of, I guess, deeply personal things, and I really am curious. Uh, so, what are some of your favorite memories of playing games? What are some of your proudest accomplishments? What does your Pokedex look like? I know we've got some Pokemon fans in the chat. What's your favorite thing to do in Animal Crossing? Just whatever you want to do. Take it away. I want to hear about gaming from you.
Oof. Alrighty. Well, favorite memories. Definitely the first time. Okay, so Pokemon Platinum was my first game. I watched Chugga play through Pokemon Fire Red. Like, I got introduced to him on the exact day he happened to just start that Let's Play. Um, and that was his first Pokemon Let's Play too. Um, so I got into Platinum. So I was about 8. Best memory was probably beating it for the very first time without the help of my neighbor because he kind of helped me because I guess he had played like the previous game or something beforehand. I don't know, but that was a big accomplishment. I actually still have that very first starter on me to this day. I forget what the rest of the team was, but I have a pretty good guess knowing me. Uh, in terms of Pokedex completions, I have only ever completed the Pokedex in Sun and Let's Go Eevee. Sun, one of my best friends helped me complete it on my birthday. He helped me trade like some of the exclusives and then helped me catch the last one. And then Let's Go. I think I actually completed it on stream. I don't remember off the top of my head.
And which
Still
one did
trying
you
to look
get?
for that shiny Bulbasaur. I got Eevee.
Eevee, that's right.
Oh, wait a minute.
We're gonna get it.
I got
There we go.
There we go. And there's one of my impressions for tonight. I can't.
Nice.
My throat's a little sore, so I can't quite do it as I usually do.
Are we gonna get Yoshi tonight?
Yoshi!
Yes, yes, everybody. That's the one right there. That's the clip.
Yep.
And I love your yarn
Woo!
Yoshi. Actually, fun
I
fact.
know.
I don't know
I
if you
got
can
him for
see
my
it.
birthday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because like,
Do you have the other
one of
colors
my
too?
no, I
Okay.
only have this one in Pikachu because, one of my high school acquaintances we had orchestra together. Um, granted, I didn't blame her for it. She'd only been to my house for my Sweet 16. She thought I had owned a Wii, but I only owned the 360.
Mm.
So she got me both of them like for 2 consecutive years. So, but I don't
Wow.
care. I love Yarn Yoshi. I want
So good.
what is it? Crafted World that's on Switch.
Yes, yes.
What? Yes,
Crafted
I
World.
want that for Christmas.
Oh,
It's
good.
so cute.
That's still on my wish list. I haven't gotten it yet either. I was gonna say,
Ugh.
I don't know if you can see Memory Martin, you won't be able to see on your camera angle, but for everyone else, I'm pointing at this little question mark box. And the fun fact is my
I
yarn
like it.
Yoshi is in there.
Oh, oh yeah, I see
Yeah.
it.
I have that little, it's actually
With
an
the
amiibo
Metro
case.
Mario and the
Yeah.
Piranha Plant.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's the Mario that in the Star Fox video, poor guy's head was in a vice. But
Aw,
yeah.
yeah.
So Sony and Sega were being mean to him. So
Uh, Gee, I
um
wonder why.
Kreiser requests a Woopa. A Woopa. Woopai? Whoopie?
Okay, I know what he's talking about. Hang on, I need water real quick.
Uh-oh. Okay. This is gonna be good. I don't know what this is gonna be good. The world may never know.
Be thankful for this queasy because I haven't done this for you in months. Woopa, woopa, woopa. There we go.
That was pretty good. Wow, I don't even know what it was, but it
It's one of
sounded
the,
like a
it's
Pokemon.
another Pokemon.
Okay.
It is.
I
I
was
can do a
just
couple more.
Okay.
I can do. Okay. Let me see. My throat's still a little sore, so it's gonna be a little hard.
Okay.
That's literally what I do. Like usually when I start my Pokemon impressions, I start with those two because I
So
can get high on those two, and then I can get the others.
that was so good.
Come here. Nope. I know. Pikachu.
That's also really good. That's really good. Wait, I think
I know.
people need to shout out a Pokemon and we can see if you can do an impression. Oh, that's a really sweet Pikachu.
I know. I don't remember where I got. I think I got him from my uncle. Either my uncle or my aunt. I forget.
Nice.
He's got me a lot of cool Pokemon stuff. Actually, he got me when I went to TwitchCon because he came with me last year. He got me these. He meant to send them for my birthday and then forgot.
Wait, are those like the special editions or something? What?
These are Japanese Stadium 1 and 2.
No, that's cool looking. I've never seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's trying to find me the Pikachu N64. He still hasn't mailed it though.
Oh,
I'm like, that would be awesome, but I don't care if you get me a regular one. I really don't.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I want
I know.
that would
Yeah.
be a great stream thing too to do. By the way, I love your Batgirl symbol. It's so great.
Thank you. Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. For those who don't know, I think I told you, man. I don't remember. My uncle is actually a game dev.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which
He
I think
worked
is
on
super cool.
Iron Man 2 for Xbox. I forget what else. Right now he's working on a bunch of Arc maps, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Kreiser says they only do a Gengar impression, but I think I can do it more creepy than the actual stuff. Can you do a?
Oh, he does do a really good Gengar.
Can you do
I
a
can't do
Gengar
Gengar.
or a Mew?
I'm trying to remember what Mew sounds like. I can't do Gengar. He knows I can't do Gengar. I've done it with him before. How does Mew sound? I'm trying to remember from the movies. It's been a while. Mew mew. I think it's something like that. I know it's like I know it's basically okay. I cannot for the life of me do Victory Bell because Victory Bell is literally just a girl screaming. I can't scream. I can't scream on cue. I have to actually get scared.
That's great. Well, okay. You know what? We've just gone through all of this. I think it's time to transition into talking about art for a little bit, shall we?
Hey,
So here,
sure.
let's start. I'm gonna go ahead and post or put this on screen. I want everybody to have a chance to see some of your artwork. So it's there right now. For those of you who don't know, Memory Martin, not just a streamer, but also in fact an artiste, as you can see now. And
Yep.
we're getting a few things on the screen right now. We had Kirby and Link, and then I
I
don't
knew you
actually.
were gonna like that one.
I loved it. I loved it. So this is good
Uh-huh.
stuff. Really good stuff. I like the art
Wink.
line work you've done.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah, like
yeah. Go ahead.
these normally take me like a couple hours. I love the Baymax. But yeah, these normally take me a couple hours. Wink took the longest. I think he took like a day or two. Mostly because
Okay.
I was trying different references and different poses, and I'm not used to drawing people. I'm more
Mm-hmm.
used to obviously drawing Pokemon and like animals sort of thing. I am still learning how to draw people.
Your Kirby's are
So
awesome as well. I really like the Kirby's.
I know. Oh,
Those are
I love
fun.
that one. It's so cute. I know. Those were fun little like sprite sheets.
Yeah, really neat stuff. And of course, back to Kirby there. But oh, what did I just do? I just I just went to the
Oh
wrong.
no.
Here, wait a minute. We can fix this. I was distracted. There we go. Fix it. Although my game is frozen too. Let me go ahead and
Oh
unfreeze it.
no.
We can fix it. Maybe. There we go. All right. Um, I, oh no. Hope the loot was good, Kreiser. My gosh. And yes, Kreiser says those Kirby's look official. That's what I thought too. So tell me,
I
obviously they're, video game related. You definitely have a passion for video games. Tell me though,
mhm.
what got you into art and how did you end up, drawing so many video game related characters?
Uh well, honestly, it was just because uh like I've said, writing is my Achilles heel, and then in 7th grade, in English class, I met a girl who I saw her drawings. I think she kind of liked Pokemon. I don't remember off the top of my head, but her drawings were really good, and so like I kind of learned off of her. And then I knew some other people from like middle school and into high school where they were also artists, and so I also kind of learned off of them. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start drawing my favorite Pokemon because, well, why not?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
have any plushies of them, so I might as well have something of them.
So
And it's been very fun.
how did you learn?
I got some books actually. Like I've had some of them since I was a kid, but like I didn't touch them until about middle school to high school. Let me see here. So like actually, this sketchbook I got a couple Christmases ago. Let me see. I haven't been in it in a while. This was the very first one that I did
Oh my
based
gosh,
off the
that's a cute
yeah.
little was it beaver?
So it was squirrel.
Squirrel. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, Most of these are like not complete. Um, oh yeah. Okay. So when Sword and Shield got announced, there's one recurring character named Looker, who's part of the International Police. He's been in the game since Platinum, and I figured, well, it's England, so why not try to make him look like Sherlock Holmes? I never did get to finish it, but this is completely freehand.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, I do want to
Nice.
finish this actually.
That would be good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then actually, Poliwag is the very first Pokemon I learned to draw.
Oh.
Ironically enough, ironic, not Voltorb, which is literally just a Pokeball.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in here? Mm. Oh, I have some sketches of like my avatar and stuff
Oh,
for like what I
cool.
want it to look like.
Yeah. I like that.
Uh, and then this one is from the same book from the squirrel.
Nice. Oh, that looks really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think this one was as well. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, neat.
I have the books all right here. Another
Now,
one of me. Another random. This is supposed to be a Kirby sketch. I can tell from the arms. Nope, that's it.
okay. Now, you obviously a lot of those. I mean, well, obviously all those images are in a physical sketchbook, but the art that you shared
Hmm.
with me looks like it's digital.
Yep, those are digital.
So, when did you make the transition to digital? How'd that all work?
When I got this um sketch pad, like last Christmas. It was either last Christmas or 2 Christmases ago, because I thought I wanted to get into animation, and so my parents were like, all right, let's see what she can do with it. So I got this, and then I tried looking for a bunch of different free drawing and animation softwares, and then I finally landed on one called Krita, Krita, and I've been using it ever since.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Is
I
that
actually have a very small animation. It's not finished, but
hmm? Well,
it's not bad
maybe we'll
actually.
have to see.
Yeah,
So,
if I can get it to work.
do you find that your art then translates to overlays, things like that?
Um, Not quite yet. I mean, so far the only thing I have for my art is just like on my starting soon scene. I just have all of like my most recent and or favorite art, mostly Pokemon, obviously. Um, there's some on here that are actually really good. Like there's one of a Jigglypuff. There's one of the newest starters and things like that. Let's see, I'm looking for like some of my books. So this is the book
Oh,
where
okay.
some of the characters are from.
Oh, I
Yeah, I
like
have
that.
a couple Christopher Hart books. He's I
He's
could be
the
wrong.
artist from Fairly Odd Parents. Is that right?
No, that's Butch
Oh,
Hartman.
you're right. Duh.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but based on a character that's in here, I think he might have been the animator for Dexter's Laboratory because one of the sketches in here
Oh,
looks like Dexter's dead.
okay.
I could be wrong though. Hi Cooper, you finally make your entrance.
Ooh, are we gonna see Cooper?
Probably. Here, you know what? I'll grab him. Come here, Bubble.
Let's see Cooper, everybody. Who doesn't want to see a cute puppers?
Yes.
Okay.
Here he
Oh,
is.
there's a cute puppers.
Yes,
Oh,
he's a good,
Cooper!
my little cuddle buddy.
Oh, there's Cooper. Oh
Nana.
my
Hi,
goodness.
Nana.
Ah! That's great. We always hear about
Yep.
Cooper, and now we see what Cooper looks like. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you're a good doggy.
He's my cuddle buddy and my cat dog.
That's
He
super.
literally acts like a cat. And well, I'm the only '90s kid out of me and my siblings, so hence I get to call him cat dog,
There you go. Nice.
even though I never saw the show.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Like I said, I was born in Hong Kong, so I missed a lot of good '90s cartoons. And I didn't move to the US till I was 6.
Yeah, well, you know what? At the same time, there are also a lot of not so good cartoons from that
True.
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, bye, Cooper.
Yep, bye Cooper. He'll probably jump up on the
That's
bed,
great.
probably
That's
push around some of
fantastic.
my stuffies. Yeah, he loves to cuddle with my stuffies. So.
Since Kreiser is new around here and asks what happened to Chronologs, Chrono is someone who very much likes to go wormhole hunting for us to make sure the Manaverse is safe. And they were sucked into
Yep.
a wormhole, but now Chronologs has dropped into the chat from the planet of the Puppers, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
So, I think it's probably a good opportunity for us to maybe kind of wind down the stream. If there are any remaining questions people have, we could just sort of do a freestyle. This is how we did it last time with Essie Lessie. Just basically, as the questions come, we can just read them and respond. We kind of didn't ask me anything style round, and or if there's anything that you want to talk about, Mary Martin, Anything you want to plug?
Alright.
Just go for it.
Well, I was gonna say this was one of the first
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Pokemon books I got.
Nice.
I have one from like the same generation as when I got Pokemon Platinum, but I don't remember if it's in this drawer or not.
Mm-hmm.
Probably is.
I can't help you on that one.
And nope, unfortunately not.
Probably. It's probably the next drawer over. Pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be if this wasn't the bottom drawer.
Okay. Here's a question. Dash
Oh, I got
Magnum
it.
asks, if I heard right, you used to live in North Carolina. MemoryMartin, are there any strong opinions that you have on barbecue?
Dash, I hate to tell you, I never had barbecue because, like I said, I'm very sensitive to taste or to texture,
That's
especially meat.
right.
So,
That's right. Oh my gosh. Well, so yes, you have strong opinions. You don't want to
So,
eat them.
yeah, there
None
you
of
go.
it.
My strong opinion is I
None.
don't have one because I've never had it.
Fantastic.
And this was the previous book I was talking about. So actually, I didn't realize it until I was staring at the cover. So the very first Pokemon movie I saw involved these two Pokemon. It was called Arceus and the Jewel of Life.
Hmm.
And I think it was Seth who had asked me or told me to tell you my favorite Pokemon. It is Pichu. And now I remember why. Because Pichu is basically the heroine of the movie.
Okay. There we go.
Pretty much. Yep. And I am sad to say that apparently there was an event Pichu that you could get like around the time of the release of the movie. 8-year-old me did not know that that was a thing and missed out on it.
Darn.
And I'm very sad about that.
Oh, bummer.
Yep.
Dash Magnum is
but
laughing. He says, fair enough, then I guess I shouldn't ask whether you prefer mustard-based or vinegar-based.
Yeah, probably not.
But
the same best friend who helped me complete Pokemon Sun got me a shiny female Pichu for my birthday. So that was awesome.
oh, that's super. That's super. Here's a question I think that is kind of for me. 8-Bit Dad 7DC Seth says, do you post these interviews anywhere so that we can revisit them, Mana? I do save these. I have to double check with Scooter. I believe we've archived all of them, and I'm not sure if they are in a collection on Twitch yet, but I believe that they are all archived, and I'd like to put them in there. If they aren't archived, I can always re-upload them. We do have all of them saved onto YouTube, and eventually they will be all visible as Scooter's helping me work through the backlog. But yeah, these would be posted. Maybe it would be a good idea to throw these on the blog of Mana too. But then
I was about to say these there's definitely no playlist because Mike was asking me about that when I was on his stream earlier, and I was like, let me look, and I didn't see a playlist. So I was like, oh, okay.
I will have to take a look then.
Yep.
Okay. Seth wants to know what your favorite Pokemon is.
Well, I just said, favorite Pokemon Pichu, favorite starter is Bulbasaur, and favorite evolution Espeon.
Okay.
I was about to say Vaporeon, but then I remembered something that Crazer and I were talking about the other day, and I was like, nope.
Cool. So here's a question from Scooter. What is the worst game you have ever played or owned?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Oh, no.
Don't let it ruin
Zipping
Vaporeon for you.
I'm not blaming you, I'm blaming the person. Probably, what was it? Epic Mickey. It was an Epic Mickey 3D game, and the main reason for it is because I remember I really wanted a Wii to be able to play the first two Epic Mickey games. Or no, not a Wii. I wanted to find the two Epic Mickey games for the Xbox, and so my parents got me the 3D version, and I thought, oh, you could use like the filter and make it like 3D and stuff. No, it's a 2D platformer. I was so mad.
But I'm gonna say that's interesting. That's the worst game because I think it's actually a pretty fun game.
it was fun,
I
but
can
like
see why you'd be disappointed.
I think I got aggravated with like the way it got delivered and my expectations of it.
I can totally get that.
Um,
Didn't meet your
yeah.
expectations. But yeah,
There's another. Oh, Triforce Heroes.
you don't like Triforce Heroes?
I I feel like it's better when you're playing it with friends.
You know what? You
And
are fair enough.
I didn't have
I haven't put much time into it. Actually, that
yeah.
reminds me. I was talking about doing a collab with some people on that game. I haven't done it yet. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Like
one right there that definitely has to be played with friends.
yeah, like New Horizons is fine because there's still plenty for you to do throughout the day by yourself.
Right.
But like Triforce, it's just like,
Like the
not really.
core main game mechanic is that you have to play with other people. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay, here's a question though. What's the first game you ever played, or that you remember playing?
First game I
Seth
played.
asks.
Well, first game I owned was Platinum. I want to say the first game I played was most likely Mario Kart 64 with my cousins.
Okay.
Ironically enough, despite the fact that they're not much gamers, they own a heck of a lot of consoles. And I was very jealous. I still am.
So, do you play much Mario Kart now?
Yeah, I actually I played Mario Kart 8 recently when one of the cousins came over.
Nice.
Because they live right by the border, so the Florida-Georgia border.
Favorite Mario Kart game?
Probably 8. I mean, the only ones I played were 8, 7, and 64. So.
Okay, boy.
I mean, unless like those like Chuck E. Cheese arcade machines count.
Ooh, they totally do. I mean, those are pretty cool.
Yeah, those are pretty fun.
What did you think? Where would you rate those in the Mario Kart lineup of what you've played? Best to worst of what you've played, Mario Kart.
I'd probably say. That's kind of hard. I'd probably say 8 was the best. Arcade was second. 64 was third, and then 7 was worse. Mostly because like just because the way that my sibling would play it with me. That's basically how I played it. So we both got the 3DS XL, the OG model, for Christmas.
Okay.
And we decided to swap because I like the red, they like the blue. And I didn't know this, but apparently the blue one came pre-installed with Mario Kart.
Okay.
And I didn't, so I had to wait like another 6 months in order to get it.
Wow.
And then like and then whenever we would play together on road trips, like prior to me getting the game, obviously if you're a guest, you're the shy guy with the standard cart. Well, no matter what combinations of like cart and character my sibling would play, I would always beat them, and they would get so frustrated they would just quit the round like by the final match.
Wow. Don't you love that rage quitting there? Man.
Mm-hmm. It's fun having a younger sibling who is about 4.5 years younger than you. So.
Oh man. So okay. I gotta say, I'd have a hard time out of those Mario Karts choosing the tier list. But I think I have to be unbiased here and say that objectively, I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best Mario Kart so far.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a good game. I mean, it's the top most polished, I would say.
Especially with the inclusion of other characters like Link and Isabelle and the Inklings, and even adding in their areas into the world. It's like, dang, man. And people think they can only do that in Smash.
Yeah. But I really think that all of the games are great. Now, Twitchy Berry says nothing captures the glory of the original Super Mario Kart. I mean, honestly...
Crazy strong words about that one.
Yeah. Oh, he doesn't like it.
I love how I'm... Nope.
Yep.
Again, because he and I talked about it the other day, so I know exactly what he's thinking.
I mean, that's the first game that I played when it came out. It was amazing. And so I have a lot of love for it and fondness for it. I still think it's a fun game to play. Does it feel like Mario Kart now? Not really anymore. Like it doesn't, to be honest. But I do enjoy going back to it as its own thing. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
But
because I do that a lot with like platinum and stuff
mm-hmm,
when I want nostalgia.
right. But I don't think that it's. I mean, outdated is what Kreiser's saying. I'm not so certain that I would dismiss it as outdated because that's part of the charm of retro games. I think that it certainly is. I mean, it's been lapped, to use a racing analogy, by
Mm.
modern generations' ability to do 3D rendering and all of this. But I still think that as a game, it still holds up. So that would be my take. I also see some people saying that every other Mario Kart game is good. I personally, I enjoyed that franchise. It's my tied with Zelda as my favorite franchise. Although I think Zelda might be my favorite by a little bit. Most days I say it's my favorite. Sometimes Mario Kart sneaks in, but but I like the whole franchise. There's not a lot of entries that I wouldn't go back and play.
I've only played a
Yeah.
handful of Zelda and Mario, and having never beaten Zelda, I can't quite comment on that.
Mm-hmm.
Crazer knows I'm still like when I was doing my blind run of Breath of the Wild, like in the very beginning, like when I finally got the capture card, I'm still in the very beginning of the game, and I don't even remember where the heck I'm at. I'm somewhere,
I think
somewhere far, far away from Hyrule.
check the quest log.
Yep.
Now, Kreiser says something I'm not certain I agree with. Uh, because Kreiser says, I mean, on the outdated versus old school comparison, like Mega Man 1 and Zelda 1, they're old school because they work just as fine even for today's standards. But I'm going to throw out there that I don't know that Zelda 1 does. As much as I'm a Zelda fan, as much as I love Zelda, I think Zelda 1 is too open and vague, and it doesn't it invites exploration, but in at times, because it's so vague, and so it can be a frustrating experience today, where I think Breath of the Wild captured the essence of that exploration but gave you some direction and gave you some clarity into what your overall mission and goals are. But that's just my thought. we have Scooter offering their best to worst Mario Karts. But you know what? I
Yeah.
think it's probably time we should start wrapping things up. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about, Memory Martin.
Uh, Nothing comes to mind for me.
Well then, I would very much like to have you take an opportunity to talk about what it is you do, where people can find you. Plug yourself. This is the shameless plug section of the stream. I want to hear, I want to hear why should everyone flock to your channel, and I'm going to shout you out while you do that.
All right. Well, you guys can find me obviously here on Twitch, MemoryMartin. Twitter at MemoryMartin2. Don't ask why. For some reason, I had to put in the two. And at Instagram, how should I explain this? So it's MemoryMartin, but oh my gosh, yeah. Substitute the E, the O, and the I with the 3, a 0, and 1.
That's it.
There we go.
And it's scrolling
I was
across
like,
your screen
what's
as
wording?
as we speak.
Oh, and there's
Memory
that.
Martin. There we go. You can see it
Yes.
right in that corner.
I'm switching between tabs. So
Yep. And so what do you post on Instagram mostly?
well, so far I only have a picture of Cooper, but I am going to. I was actually waiting until this interview. I'm going to start posting all of the art you guys saw tonight, as well as if anyone saw me earlier today with my comeback stream, some of the art from there, and just other stuff I've worked on throughout the year,
Awesome.
and maybe more pictures of Cooper. Who knows?
Awesome.
There is no who knows. There are going to be more pictures of Cooper.
Yeah, of course, that just goes without saying. What are some of the things that we can expect to see you stream mostly?
Let me think. Mostly blind runs of games I've never played. casual Pokemon playthroughs, art streams, maybe some impressions and some other variety stuff here and there. Right, Yoshi? Yoshi! No.
Awesome. Excellent. Uh, hey, everybody, thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it. You all have been so kind. This was a lot of fun. And yes, this is going to be archived. You'll see it posted and saved. Please do check out Memory Martin. She's been an amazing friend of Mana. It's been great getting to know her. It was an absolute joy to be able to stream with you and have you as a guest on Isle Mana Live. So,
Yes, this has
everybody,
been so much fun.
thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming. Everybody, please do check out Memory Martin.
Yes, bye-bye.
Oh, man. Memory Martin, thank you so much.
Yes. Oh, for those who don't know, this is my very first stuffy that I got when I moved from Hong Kong on
Aw.
Valentine's Day.
Oh, I didn't
Yes,
know.
her name's Pal.
Oh, that's so great. That's so great.
Yeah. For those of you who did the photo games of like the best of like all your favorite stuffies, this was the one I was trying to find. Like on the last day you could submit stuff. I couldn't find her. I found her while unintentionally finding this costume.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh, it made me so happy. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, as always, I like to end by saying do good and be well, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you, Memory Martin, so much for being on the show, and I look forward to hanging out with you in streams in the future.
Aw, thanks for having me, Mana. Thanks, Chad, for asking so many awesome questions.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, chat. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night, guys.